Allusion is a brief and indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. It does not describe in detail the person or a thing to which it refers. It is just a passing comment, and the writer expects the reader to possess enough knowledge to spot the allusion and grasp its importance in a text. In literature, it's frequently used to refer to cultural works, that is, alluding to a Bible story or Greek myth. Allusion also exists in other forms, like in music. Musicians, for example, they frequently allude to melodies used by other musicians. But it is not to be confused with a metaphor, because the use of a word or a phrase to refer to something that it isn't, and invoking a direct similarity between the word or phrase used and the thing described, not using the word like and as we use in a simile, is a metaphor. While in allusion, we find that allusion is an indirect reference, a hint, which refers to something supposed to be known but is not explicitly mentioned. It's a covert indication. Eliot's use of allusions in The Wasteland is related to his theory of tradition and to his exploration of the relationship of the past and the present. Different temporal perspectives, cultural context, and state of consciousness are brought into a relationship, however difficult they might be. The concept of history in The Wasteland is not that of a unilinear progressive development from the past to the present. Allusions from a variety of contexts and historical epochs are juxtaposed as they are done in a collage to create an effect of simultaneity and to undermine the idea of evolutionary progress. Eliot wrote to Paul Elmer Moore that past and present they were used in The Wasteland as different versions of futility. The supposed grandeur of the past is demystified by being brought into a critical relationship with contemporary life, and the present predicament is set against varying historical perspectives. The past does not exist as a unified, static entity in the wasteland, but is constructed out of fragments. These fragments, though, serve to evoke a literary, historical, or cultural context in a manner similar to Eliot's prescription of Joyce's method. As I. A. Richards remarked, allusion in The Wasteland are a device for compression, for the poem is equivalent in content to an epic. Without this device, 12 books would have been required or they would have been needed. It is also possible to read The Wasteland as an inventive act of literary history which attempts to obtain a tradition. This is we have taken from Michael Levenson's A Genealogy of Modernism. Tradition in the poem is not something that is passively inherited. It is a subjective construction. The poet interprets the past in his selection, arrangement, and treatment of allusions, styles, and genres. The reader is confronted with the difficulty of interpreting the function of the allusion, but it enriches the poem and it helps in placing and interpreting the source text. Also, the notion of tradition in the poem is not limited to the canonical literature of Europe. It has a wider range of reference since it includes anthropological interpretations of primitive myths and rituals, the Buddha's fire sermon, and the Upanishads. Allusions are used in the wasteland to constitute consciousness, yet appropriate voices from the past to construct the speaking subject. Allusions help to bring together fragments of consciousness and modes of perceptions to provide alternative points of view.